Hi, my name is Holly Angel and welcome back to RCK's series Women in Business. Today I'm joined by Carol Massay, angel investor, award winner and head of construction at the Access Group. Carol, welcome. Carol, can you tell us a bit about how your professional journey has developed and how you got to where you are today?
I always say 37 years or 3 decades and 7 when I first started my career, and at the point there was 3.6 million unemployed, and it was a choice of either going to college or getting a job, and I opted for a job. And in those days, those first opportunities of working, they had what were called Girl Friday jobs or office juniors. So I was an office junior working in a print shop, and I was going to night school to learn accountancy. And during that time, I then progressed from that print shop, and an opportunity came at my well-known house builders. And at the time they were looking for an accounts junior, and I was successful in getting the role. So in between doing the day-to-day job, learning how the process for subcontractors, procuring material, doing payroll runs, which would mean like big security vans turning up with bags of money on a Wednesday to then put into these brown pay slips. I then went to night school to further my career, my education in accountancy. And I suppose that was probably the foundation for me, because that was my first step into construction, my first step into business accounting. And from there, I then just saw that I enjoyed construction. And when I left there, I then joined a civil engineering construction company that was actually owned by an Irish parent company, and it was a family company as well. So I stayed there for about 13 years, working up through the roles of being the finance and administration manager to the person that was ultimately responsible for producing the cost for the business and the financial reporting. And again, through that journey, it was about, I think, having the autonomy, and also no one was holding me back to actually experience different things. So that would mean speaking to the guys out on site, and you know what the guys like on site, they can be quite challenging. There'll be several times when, I've done a cost report and they'd be like, no, that can't be the cost. You need to go back. Your girls have not done the figures right. And, we'd have those, I'd say fun moments, because we were always right, because we used to track the cost. So that was, I would say, the foundation, those few years from starting in a house builder, then moving to a different type of construction business, and being given the opportunity to do different roles and experience different things has actually, as I said, put the foundation to build me onto where I am now.
You are head of construction at the Access Group. Can you tell us about the position and what your day-to-day job looks like?
So at the time, the product that I was responsible for, or the company, they were looking for somebody to help shape a business for growth. And what that evolved was actually taking the realms as a female, and I believe I was the first black woman to actually head up and be a CEO of a construction technology company, which at the time I didn't know. At the time when the job was offered to me, I was like, yes, I really want to do this. And from that point, I had, it was 3 years was the target, but it ended up being 5 years to grow that business to ultimately sell it for the shareholders. And in 2020, during lockdown, we continued that process, went through due diligence, working in my little home office, and I sold the business into the Access Group. And Access were very much, they are the UK biggest headquarter software house, and they were keen to get into construction. So we were able to sell the product into their business, and as part of that, I was given the position to be head of construction. And it's a great position to be in, because, when an organisation wants to, strengthen their position and have their presence as a construction lead in tech, to be there at the start of the journey is always an exciting thing. And again, as I said, as a female in a construction sector, it's been really rewarding. But also, I would like to add that I've had a great team around me. So, from the sales team, marketing, to the product managers and also the developers, they've all also been instrumental to the success of where I've got to as well.
What challenges or obstacles have you faced whilst building up your career?
Gosh, where do we start? There've been many challenges, and I would say, and I try to encourage, females and mums, and, the challenge of when you want a career and you are a mum, the guilt feeling. So one of the challenges for me was I was given the opportunity to move into the tech space at the time that I'd had my second child, and it was great opportunity, but my child. Yeah. And it's saying, well, how do you balance, you want to progress your career, but you don't want to have the guilt of having to leave your child behind at childminders. I was fortunate that I had a mixture of childcare, which was my mother, but also nursery. So that was one of, emotional challenge. But in terms of dealing with other obstacles, I was, again, in one of my position, I was the only female in a team of lots of sales people, and they were salesmen. And I suppose the challenge for me, and maybe, and I look back on this, maybe I was making the challenge more than what it was, because I was in a minority. And I always felt that, I was being maybe, singled out a little bit more questioned or challenged. We'd have meetings talking about the sales numbers, and, I was quite confident that I had good relationships with my client, that I could forecast accurately. So, I just think, that caused me a little bit of kind of why are you more interested in me as opposed to others that weren't delivering a number. And I will say for the 3 years I was in that role, I was the highest account manager bringing in revenue from that perspective. So those were some of the challenges and obstacles. I wouldn't say that, me being a black woman has been an issue. It may be an issue for other people, but it's never been an obstacle or a challenge for me. I just see myself as somebody that enjoys what I do, and happy to reach out to others if I need help in what I need to achieve as well. And I always say that to others as well. Never feel that you can't do something. Always feel, well, what's stopping me to get to the next level, and who do I need to engage with or reach out to help you get to where you need to.
Amazing. You won Construction Businesswoman in 2021. Can you tell us about what this achievement meant to you?
So unfortunately, it was all by video conference, and I was 4 hours ahead of the UK time, so that was about 10 o'clock in Dubai time. The kids were running around and I said, right, I've got to go and see what this award is all about, and who the winners are. Anyway, you get on screen, and the internet connection's not really good in that region. So we were going through the ceremony, and they had Carol Vorderman presenting the awards virtually, and they read out all the finalists, and then all of a sudden the internet connection scrambled, and it was actually the category I was in. Next minute, all I saw when the connection came up was my mugshot and all these things coming down. I was like, oh, and it's like winner, and I was like, oh my goodness, it was lovely. That experience was great. But from winning that award, it's also given me a bit of recognition, and sometimes, as an individual, recognition and validation of what you've gone through is quite humbling.
What has been a highlight for you whilst being on your journey so far?
So the highlight of my journey has been a number of things. That first and foremost, I've had some good people that I've worked with. So they are team members, but there's also been managing director. So, the chairman of Durkan actually gave me the opportunity to be the CEO. So for me, it's an opportunity that I may not have had. And I think on the back of what's happened there, that it's allowed me to progress where I am today. And, in the sector, you don't make enemies, because your path will cross. They'll either want to use my technology, or you'll see them at an event, or they'll move around to different companies.
And what would you say to women starting out on a similar journey? How would you encourage them to pursue their goal of entering the construction industry?
Believe in yourself, first and foremost. My parents always want to make sure I was okay, and parents do. They'll say, oh, no. They always have your interests at heart. But if you feel a desire that, one day I want to run my own business, or I want to do a startup tech, I would want to, look for others. When 30 odd years ago, there was no one I can look out to, and there was no social media to help, Google or look for other people. So I would always say now you have so much resources from the social network. So if you want to go into accounting, banking, technology, there are some groups that you can, associate, or networking that you can actually sign up to. But also, take time out to say, where do you actually want to get? Now I'm older, I still set every year like a 3-year or 12-month plan. What goals do I want to set, and what do I need to do to achieve those, and what people that I'm going to surround myself that are going to help me to do that. So, never give up on what you want to do. And if you start something and you feel, oh, I can't get there, don't give up. Never give up.
And what do you think companies can be doing more to champion women in business and inspire more women to strive for a leadership position?
Oh, great question. So one of my roles within the Access Group, I sit on the Diversity and Belonging Steering Group. And again, it's not just one sector, it's a multiple of sectors where you see, dependent on skills, that it seems to be male dominated. And this is not, it's not the man's fault, by the way. It's just the way things have evolved. So what companies need to be more fairer in when they're advertising for roles is the language that they use in terms of, the role is suited for, and it don't lean into the wording that would be saying that it's more around what a man will do. It's a little bit different in construction, but because predominantly, you see a role come in, it's got to be a man's going to do it. No, it isn't. So it's the language that an employer will use. Also, I think, going back to the other question, the social network and your web pages and everything else, that is your shop window of your organisation. If you're not showing that you've got females on your leadership team, now and even more, the employee are looking for companies that relate to their values. So more roles and more opportunities. And I think on the reverse side, it's actually for women to feel that they don't have to be 100%. So if there's a job that comes up, a man will be more inclined to say, out of those 10 requirements, even if they can't do all 10, they'll say they can. They probably only do 5. But a woman will say, no, I'm not going to even put myself forward. Push yourself. Even if you can't do 100% of the requirements, explain that, I want to do it. I want to be given the opportunity. And as an employer, you need to actually give the woman, the female, the opportunity. And it's not, I think also what's to add in this, we have, not just in business, we have an issue also with university courses as well, where young women are feeling that they can't do certain courses because, no, I'm going to be the only female. So we've got to look at how we collate the data and ensure that we have a fair balance of, diversity and neurodiverse individuals being able to take up positions.